Hello again, everyone. We're now going to have a look at reference function, and it's one that we'll be using an awful lot in this course. And it's a little intimidating to start off with, but once you do it a couple of times, you'll find that it's actually very easy. And especially, once again, when we use the function wizard, you'll realize that it's actually quite easy to build up. A very, very powerful function. We use it later on in the course to build automatic data entry tables for ourselves very quickly and easily. Essentially, let's have a look and see what this function does. So it's called XLOOKUP, and this is Microsoft's replacement for VLOOKUP that some of you might have been familiar with before. XLOOKUP is much more powerful and flexible than VLOOKUP. I'm retiring VLOOKUP and going XLOOKUP all the time now. What does it do? It's going to look into this cell, into cell C22, and it's going to say, well, that's what I'm going to look up. Okay, I'm going to try and find that entry, and I'm going to look in this list for that entry. So the list I'm looking for is in here. So I'm looking for oranges in this list. So when XLOOKUP comes in, it finds it here. And then give me the answer in this column that is adjacent to that entry. So I'm now going to the D column. So now it's going to pop down the D column. It's found oranges in the second row here. So it's going to give me the second entry here. So it's going to return 20. And there it is. If I now go and change the lookup and I say, well, I want to look for bananas now, it actually, again, goes down this list, finds bananas as the third entry. Then it goes to our lookup list here, pops down to the third entry, and returns 60. So the interesting thing about this is that although it is usually favorable to have all these in the one table, you could just as easily look up this list, and this list could be somewhere over here, and you just look for the third entry in it. I find that very confusing and wouldn't normally recommend it, but that's how this works. So without further ado, let's build the function. I'm going to take it out here, and we're going to build up as we normally build up the function. So I'm going to say equals x lookup. Once I have it typed correctly in here, the hot tip comes up, so I'm going to say, right, I want the function button here. And again, we just click and go. So lookup value, we're looking up bananas. Then I come to the next entry here, and I say, where am I looking up bananas? I'm looking it up in this range here, C5, C8. And then what do I want returned on the back of that? Well, bananas are the third row down, and I want the third row down in this range here. 1, 2, 3 of bananas, and that's it. You'll notice that there are two extra arguments in XLOOKUP, and we'll come to those in a second, but that's the basic. These are the obligatory ones, and these are optional arguments that you may or may not put in. So we'll just say OK. And the answer is 60. So let's have a think about this. So that's great, that works very well, but supposing XLOOKUP can't find what it's looking for. So if it's looking for, here's the function here, it's correctly written, but it's looking up nothing, and there's no cell with nothing here. It can't find anything, so it returns an error. And this doesn't look very good, and anyone who's using the formula will think that there's some sort of problem with it because it's returning this Excel error, when really it's working perfectly fine. It's just telling you that it can't find the entry. So this is where the optional arguments come in. Let's just go and edit that again. So we'll go to the function dialog box again, and we look at the optional argument here. So this basically says if not found. What happens if the reference fails because this entry here is not found in the workbook? Let's go and write it in here. So we'll say not found. You can do anything you like here. You can even put another formula in here if you want to do another function. And we'll say OK, and now it comes up with a more helpful not found, and then if I go to click this, it fixes it, and away we go. So that's that. And the other argument then is just the match mode, and that is covered down here. If you have a look at this section down here, it will describe match mode for you. So for yourselves, I would suggest go and have a practice with these. Here's another drop down list for this, and then you can type in an XLOOKUP here. So have fun with that. As I say, it's a function that we use a lot of later on in the course when we're building up tables, input tables and reference tables for data input. Very, very powerful function. So have fun, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.